Have you ever had that one dream that feels so close, yet somehow always just out of reach? For so many immigrants in the US, that dream is as simple as holding a driver's license, the little card that can change everything: freedom, opportunity, independence, the ability to drive to work, take your kids to school, or just feel safe and legal on the road. Well, if that sounds like you or someone you love, listen closely, because 2025 might finally be the year everything changes. Across the United States, a quiet but powerful shift is happening, one that's giving undocumented immigrants a chance to step out of the shadows and onto the road legally. Some states are saying yes, opening their doors to new possibilities and rewriting what it means to belong in this country. And here's the exciting part: the list of these states is growing. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Is this really true? Which states are doing this? What do I need to know before I apply? Don't worry, we're going to cover all of that and more. But first, it's important to understand why this moment is such a big deal. Because this isn't just about driving, it's about dignity. It's about safety. It's about being able to live your daily life without fear. Imagine not having to worry every time you get behind the wheel. No more anxiety about traffic stops or wondering what could happen if you're pulled over. Imagine finally being recognized, not just as someone living here, but as someone contributing, working hard, and trying to build a future. This video is going to take you through the list of states currently granting driver's licenses to undocumented immigrants in 2025. Plus, we'll talk about what's changing this year, what new laws are being debated, and how you can prepare if your state might be next. And trust me, some of the updates might surprise you. There are states you wouldn't expect that are now stepping up, breaking barriers, and setting examples for others to follow. So grab your coffee, sit back, and let's dive into everything you need to know about this major change that could affect millions of immigrant families. But before we get started, if you're passionate about immigration updates, legal rights, and staying informed about what's happening in your state, do me a quick favor: hit that like button. It really helps this community grow and makes sure more people like you can get the information they deserve. You know, it's amazing to think about how something as small as a driver's license can make such a huge difference in someone's life. For most people, it's just a piece of plastic, a card you keep in your wallet and barely think about. But for undocumented immigrants, it can represent years of waiting, hoping, and sometimes struggling just to feel like they truly belong. And that's what makes what's happening right now across the country so powerful. Because this isn't just about getting permission to drive. It's about recognition. It's about finally seeing states acknowledge that undocumented immigrants are part of their communities, that they work hard, pay taxes, and deserve the same level of safety and respect as anyone else on the road. So, let's talk about where things stand in 2025. Right now, more than 20 states, along with Washington, D.C. and Puerto Rico, allow undocumented immigrants to apply for driver's licenses. And every year, that number keeps growing. Some of these states have had programs for years, quietly making it possible for families to move forward with dignity. Others are just joining in now, passing new laws and creating systems that make life a little easier for thousands of people. Take California, for example. It's been leading the way since 2015 with its AB 60 license program, which lets undocumented residents apply for a standard driver's license. No social security number required. Over 1 million people have already benefited from it. And the roads haven't just gotten safer, they've become more inclusive. Because when more people are tested, licensed, and insured, everyone wins. Then you have New York. In recent years, the green light law made it possible for undocumented immigrants to finally get their licenses, opening doors that had been shut for decades. The impact? Immigrant workers can now commute without fear, parents can take their kids to school, and families can go about their daily lives with just a little more peace of mind. And that's not all. States like Illinois, New Jersey, Oregon, and Maryland have also made major progress. They've created systems where proof of residency and identity is enough. No immigration status questions asked. It's about common sense. It's about making sure every driver on the road is properly trained, identified, and insured. But here's what's really interesting. In 2025, A few more states are starting to make moves in this direction. You're seeing growing support in places like Massachusetts, Minnesota, and even states that traditionally haven't been known for progressive immigration policies. Why? Because communities are speaking up. People are realizing that this isn't a political issue, it's a human one. Now, I want to make something clear. Every state has its own process. Some require proof of residency, some ask for a tax ID or a passport from your home country, and others have their own identification requirements. But the bigger point is this: change is happening. Slowly, yes, but steadily. And that's why this matters right now, more than ever. Because when states decide to open the door for undocumented immigrants to get licenses, they're not just giving people a piece of paper, they're giving them a chance to live safely, to drive legally, and to be seen as part of the community. Think about how different life feels when you don't have to live with that constant fear. You can go to work, take your kids to soccer practice, or drive to a doctor's appointment without that anxiety in the back of your mind. That's freedom. That's dignity. And here's something else to remember. Every time a new state says yes, it sends a message to the rest of the country that inclusion works, that treating people with respect and fairness makes roads safer, communities stronger, and families more stable. Now, I know a lot of you watching might be wondering, okay, but how do I actually get one if I live in one of these states? Great question. The first step is always to check your state's official DMV website, not a random link or social media post. You want the real, verified source, because requirements can vary even within the same region. Most states will ask for documents that prove who you are and where you live. That might include your passport from your home country, a consular ID, or even utility bills in your name. And yes, it might feel overwhelming at first, especially if English isn't your first language. But don't worry, most DMVs now offer forms and support in Spanish and other languages to make the process smoother. What's even better is that immigrant advocacy groups are stepping up everywhere. Nonprofits, legal aid organizations, and community centers are holding information sessions, helping people gather the right paperwork and guiding them through the process step by step. So if you're feeling unsure, you don't have to go through it alone. And here's something I really want to emphasize. Applying for a driver's license in one of these states does not put you on a path to deportation. The laws are specifically designed to separate DMV records from immigration databases. That means your information is used only for licensing purposes, not immigration enforcement. That's an important protection that a lot of people don't realize exists. But it's what makes these laws possible. Now, while that's the good news, there are still some challenges. Not every state is on board yet. Some states are still debating whether to open this opportunity, and unfortunately, there's still resistance in places where immigration issues tend to get politicized. But here's the silver lining. Public opinion is changing fast. Surveys show that more and more Americans support driver's licenses for undocumented immigrants because they see the benefits firsthand. When everyone on the road is licensed and insured, accidents decrease, hit and runs go down, and communities become safer. It's not about politics, it's about practicality. And people are starting to get that. So even if you're watching from a state that hasn't passed these laws yet, don't lose hope. Change takes time, but it's coming. Every year, more states introduce bills, and every year, the movement grows stronger. It's because of people like you, people who speak up, who vote, who share their stories, who keep the conversation alive. And speaking of sharing, if you know someone who's been waiting for this opportunity, send them this video. You never know how much hope that one share could bring to someone who's been struggling silently. Because the truth is, this story isn't just about licenses, it's about humanity. It's about recognizing that no matter where you were born, you still deserve to live your life with respect and safety. It's about being able to provide for your family, move around freely, and be part of the country you already help build every single day. And honestly, watching this change unfold feels inspiring. It reminds us that progress might move slowly, but it does move. Every signature on a new law, every family that finally gets their license, that's a small victory for fairness, for inclusion, and for the immigrant dream. So if you're in a state that already allows undocumented immigrants to get licensed, take advantage of it. Don't wait. Go through the process, even if it feels intimidating. That license could be the key that unlocks so many new possibilities in your life. And if your state isn't there yet, stay tuned, because you never know what might happen next. 2025 is shaping up to be a big year for immigration-related changes, and this is just one piece of a much larger puzzle. I'll be keeping you updated right here on this channel with every new development, every new state that joins in, and every change that could impact immigrant families like yours. So if you haven't already, hit that like button, drop a comment telling me where you're watching from, and subscribe so you don't miss the next update. We're building a community here, one where immigrants, allies, and families can stay informed, supported, and inspired. Because when we know our rights, when we share information, and when we stick together, we don't just survive, we thrive. So let's keep the conversation going. Let's keep learning, supporting, and celebrating each step forward, because 2025 is the year of progress, and you deserve to be part of it.